All right, next up, we're going to be talking about SSH or Secure Shell. So first, go to ssh.com and follow along. All right, so from here, you're going to go to SSH Academy, click on Secure Shell, and you can read up on the protocol and learn more about it. It's basically a software package that enables you to enable secure system administration and file transfers over insecure networks. So, if you're familiar with FTP, file transfer protocol, you can use SFTP. That would be the secure shell version of that. And also, you can just use SCP, which we're going to learn about as well. So how it works is your SSH client is going to initiate a connection by contacting the SSH server that you want to connect to. That server is going to send over a public key, and then the two of them are going to negotiate parameters and open a secure channel. And then from there, the client will just log in to the host operating system. And as always, I do suggest you to go through the site and learn more about the SSH protocol on your own. But for now, let's go ahead and switch over to the terminals. We're going to be using the Red Hat server that we created in the beginning of the course, and hopefully the server that you created in the last lesson that I posted. And we're going to try to do an SSH connection between the two of them. And I'm going to show you how it works. All right, so the first thing we want to do is switch over to user Michael. So let's type in SU minus and Michael. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to SSH from Michael to Lexi. So what we need is Lexi's IP address. So we're going to type in IPA or IPADDR show. And then we're going to type over on the Michael's side, we're going to type in SSH, username Lexi, the @ symbol, and then the IP address. Once you hit enter, it's going to ask you if you want to continue connecting, and it's going to establish a fingerprint. What this is, think of it like a handshake. It's basically like a first greeting between two systems. So you want to type in yes, hit enter, and it's going to permanently add that IP address to your list of known hosts. From here, you're just going to type in the password for Lexi, not for Michael, but for Lexi. Congratulations, you are now logged in to that user's account. Type in ls and you can see their files and directories. And you can double check that if you go over to Lexi's machine, type in ls, you can see what's there. And let's go back over to Michael's machine and type in touch file to create a file. And we can check Lexi's machine to see if it's actually there. There you go, it's right there. So even though we're on Michael's machine, we have access to Lexi's machine. And we can remove the file, rm file, check it on Lexi's machine. And to get out, you're just going to type in exit and hit enter. And then you log out of that connection and you're back as Michael in your current machine. And now that you've already established a connection with that fingerprint, you can just type in SSH Lexi at the IP address, and it's only going to ask you for Lexi's password. You don't have to establish the fingerprint again. Once it's been done once, you don't have to do it again. And instead of using passwords to connect, because sometimes passwords can be faulty, they can be guessed, you can also use key generation and establish a connection that way. So what we're going to do is switch over to Lexi's console. We're going to type in SSH minus keygen. We're going to do minus T for type. We're going to establish an ECDSA. We're going to do minus B for the amount of bits. We're going to type in 521, and it's going to generate a public and private key pair. We're going to use the default file location, so just hit enter. And as you can see, this asks me if I want to overwrite because I already have one that exists. So I'm going to type in yes, Y for yes. You shouldn't have that pop up, so don't worry about that. Then it's going to ask you to enter a passphrase. If you want to, you can. It's up to you. And then your key fingerprint is going to be generated. And next we have to copy the public key over to our target machine. And then we're going to type in SSH minus copy minus ID space minus I. And then we're going to put in the location. So we're going to use the tilde for Lexi's home directory. /.ssh/ID underscore ECDSA .pub for the public key. And then we're going to use the target user. So Michael at target IP address 192.168.1.86. As you can see, it installs the public key onto Michael's machine. All right, now we can test by trying to log into Michael. All right, so let's type in SSH Michael at Michael's IP address. Hit enter, and we are now user Michael on his machine. All right, great job. It's time to move on to the next lesson. So you can go ahead and exit out. Feel free to play around with this and check your man pages as well. That way you can learn about more of the other options that are available with SSH. All right, that's it. Let's go on to the next lesson. I'll see you there.